Okay, so now we're done. We've got our preparation. We learned about the lake. We've made a few phone calls. We've taken all that information. We've made a plan. We got an idea what's going to happen. Now starts what I call the perception piece of it. And I truly believe, this is the first step of perception, and I truly believe that this is a lost art among anglers today. Yes, the internet's fantastic. Yes, being able to text somebody is great. Yes, Facebook fishing groups are awesome. We have lost the art of walking into a tackle shop and getting, right now, information about what's going on in the lake. Don't lose that skill. Unless I know for a fact what's going on, I always, especially on a bye where I don't fish a lot, or I'm there for the first time, or I'm there the first time in 3 or 4 years, I always stop at the best local bait shop and I ask them those questions again. What part of the lake? How deep water? How deep are their fish? Okay? I stop in and I say hi. Okay? That's important. Real quick, best local bait shop. Sometimes the best bait shop for the area you're fishing is not on the lake. Okay? So what do I consider a good bait shop? I look for bait shops that, number one, have at least 1 or 2 guides running out of them. If the guides go there, they're getting good information. Okay? Second thing, the biggest thing for me, when I call up, and I'd say I got 3 or 4 bait shops in an area, the biggest thing for me, I ask 2 questions. Do you sell leeches by the pound? Do you sell crawlers by the flat? I may not use live bait that trip, but if I know if a bait shop is selling leeches by the pound, half pound or pound, and they carry flats or crawlers, I know that's a good bait shop. That's where the fishermen are going. Guys aren't going where the guy sells a container of 12, little worms, or you got buy leeches in a cup of 6. The good fishermen aren't going there. The good fishermen are going where they can get the best bait. So ask, do you sell leeches by the pound, crawlers by the flat? Yep, that's probably the best bait shop. That's probably where the guides are going and the really good fishermen in the area are going. That's where the best information is going to be. If you walk into a store, and this is still common today, I still spend a lot of time in small bait shops, they're going to have a little mimeographed map on the counter. That's going to say, Joe's Bait Shop, Lake Hoochie Hoochie. You know what you do? You give Joe $2 for that old crappy map, because usually what happens is that map is something that Joe's grandson or granddaughter makes copies of, and they get the money for it. Buy something. Buy something. Buy something. Buy something. Be nice. Pick up a candy bar. Pick up some pop. Don't need to buy fishing tackle. Just buy something. Tell the guy, hey, thank you for being here. I'm going to support your store. I just spent $5, $6, $8, $10. If he tells you, hey, here's what the fish are biting on, maybe buy 1 or 2, even if you have them in your boat already. Because these guys are the heart and soul of fishing information, and I personally believe they're the heart and soul of the fishing business. They need to stay in business. So buying something you already have from this guy, number one, going to free up his mouth a little bit to give you information. Number two, going to make him understand that you want to support him. He's going to help you catch more fish. This is a lost art nowadays. Used to be the only way we get information. It's a lost art. Be the good fisherman who stops. And when you, at the end of the day, if you do catch fish, regardless of the information he gave you or not, stop by and say, hey, just want to tell you, we just went out today. We caught a bunch of fish. Here's where we caught them. Here's what we were doing. Pass on what you've learned so other people can have a good fishing day. Okay, we're finally on the lake. We finally got the boat in the water. Away we go. First thing I do when I get on the lake, especially if it's a lake I haven't been on in a while or a new lake I'm fishing, first thing I do is I put the boat on plane and I go looking. What's the water temp? I start looking for weed growth. Where does the weed growth stop? I verify all of that stuff. I go out in deeper water. Is there a thermocline? Yep. Nope. Where is it? How deep is it? I look at the water clarity. What's the wind direction, the wind speed? What is all that? Before I even unlock my rod locker, I go out and find all of this stuff. So now I know what I prepared for. I know what I planned for. Now I'm just verifying. So if this is true for what I got in step 1 and 2, I can go on with my plan. If it's different, I got to kind of make adjustments. But I know for a fact now what it is. I can go out and I can make observations on this, and I can start to make my plan tighter. Make adjustments to your original plan based on the perception of the current conditions. Finalize the daily game plan. Rods aren't out of the rod locker yet, guys. Okay, here's what we know. Here's the map. Here's what we thought. Here's what we know today. Here's what we just found out the bait shop. Here's what everything's telling us. Is this a good plan? Yep, let's go. Bad plan? Yeah, let's make a couple changes. Then you go fishing. That half hour, guys, I can't stress it enough. Don't be in such a hurry to get lures in the water. A lure in the water where there's no fish to see it is useless. It's a waste of time. Do all this, get on fish first, then you're going to start to catch them faster and catch more fish every day. And I cannot stress this enough, guys, the perception piece, pay attention to your electronics. I can't tell you how many times I've been running wide open across the lake and come across something like this. This is a big school of walleyes in deep water, found at 52 miles an hour. If you can't read your sonar at any speed, check out our sonar interpretation DVD. If you can't read your sonar at high speeds, guys, you need to get your transducer dialed in and get it on correctly so you can read fish at high speeds. I can't tell you how many times I'm going from point A to point B. I never get there because this happens. So being able to see at 20, 30, 40 miles an hour what's underneath your boat is critical to covering a lot of water and getting on fish fast. I'll make it simple for you. If you installed your transducer on your boat and haven't moved it since the first time you did it, it's wrong. If your boat dealer installed your transducer on your boat and you haven't moved it since the first time you put it on, it's wrong. You have to get on the water and do that. We cover that in our sonar interpretation DVD, how to get your transducer dialed in. But this is a huge part of the perception. Looking for bait and looking for fish at 20, 25, 30 miles an hour, I can cover a ton of water. Okay? So we're kind of three pieces here of this perception. I'm on the wire for the first time, doing a little bit of looking, verifying all of my details, right? Where are the fish? What's the water temp? What's the water depth? What's the weed depth? Verifying all that, step one. Step two is I'm moving around the lake looking for fish, looking for bait. That's step two of the perception part. And then the third piece of the perception part starts to happen when you start to catch fish. Paying attention to details. So what's happening when you're catching fish? Are you turning? How fast were you going? Is that lure that the fish you just caught, when you turned, did it hit a lure on the outside, so it's going faster, or on the inside, it's going slower? Is it the lure that's 20 feet from the boat that consistently gets hit, or 100 feet from the boat that consistently is getting bit? What's happening? How deep of water are you when you catch a fish? How deep is your lure when you get a bite? Do you have a bunch of lures? You've caught 3 fish at a lure 15 feet down in the water column? That's time to take those lures that are 17, 18, 20 feet and move them up because they're too deep. Start paying attention to what's happening. Is the water color, the clarity change? What color am I in? What's the clarity when I'm catching fish? Oh, we just stopped catching fish. Oh, the water just got dirtier. Well, we need to go back to where the water clarity and color is right. Which direction am I trolling? I catch fish going that way, but can't catch them coming right back through it. Well, there's something about your trolling direction. It could be subsurface current, could be surface current, could be the way the fish are moving. Okay? But pay attention to, I catch a fish, I'm heading that way. Compass heading, I catch another one, catch a third one. What is starting to happen, right? Any changes in the wind, weather, or current. Man, we were catching them, the wind died, bite stopped. Okay, well, now it's time to reevaluate your plan and figure out what's going to happen now that the wind has died. And then lastly, as these things are happening, as they're not 4 hours later when you get home, but as they're happening, guys, write it down. So as you start to gather data, you catch 3 or 4 or 5 fish, you can go, man, all those fish came on baits between 12 and 15 feet deep. You just figured out how deep your baits need to be. And all those fish came on an outside turn. You need to go faster or keep turning. All right, all these things start to happen. Well, we caught 5 fish. They all came on a different color. That tells you haven't figured out the right color yet. If you write it down, you can see it. So pay attention to all these things as you're catching fish.